It's March Madness, baby, and we are doing it Jersey score style. We are filling out our entire bracket based purely on who's got the best jersey. And we've already done 3 of the regions, and we are ending on the West. And so if you haven't already, go check out the first 3 regions and see who's already punched their ticket to the Final Four. And then we'll get through this region. Then after, we will have a video going through looking at our Final Four and ultimately name our champion of the 2023 March Madness Jersey Score bracket. So without any further ado, let's get into it and make our picks. All right, so here is our bracket in the West region. And so we're going to start off at the top here with Kansas. And this is a blue blood program, very iconic look, deserving of the #1 seed in terms of uniform, going up against 16 seed Howard. Now, Howard does not look like a 16 seed. This is a very cool look. I like it. Not traditionally classic, but still pretty clean. However, the matchup going up against the Jayhawks is just too much. And so, unfortunately for the 16 seed, have a good showing, but they are going to have an early exit. And we've got Kansas moving on. Next, we have the Razorbacks of Arkansas going against Illinois. And now this is a tough matchup, both very clean, classic. Let's first actually take a look at Arkansas. This is a good look. My only knock against it is, it's very similar to Alabama's, and I think Alabama does it just a little bit better versus the Fighting Illini. Now, orange is not always my favorite color. Translating onto uniform, sometimes it can be a bit much, but the design here, it's very classic, but very tight look, I think, from the Fighting Illini. So I actually have Illinois pulling out this victory, and they are going to go up against Kansas. And Kansas, again, great, iconic look, blue blood program. But I think what Illinois is doing here is just too good. So I actually have them pulling off the upset. So Illinois advances, and then they punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. Now let's move on to St. Mary's versus VCU. Okay, so St. Mary's, the Gales, this is all right. Really no complaints, but also no real wow factor here. And this is perhaps not the best image to highlight their uniform, but, going up against VCU. Again, VCU is no stranger to making noise in the big dance, but I do think, even though I think the Gales is a little bit boring, I just think it's still a little bit better than what VCU has going on here. So here I've got St. Mary's advancing. And next we have UConn and Iona. So UConn benefits here because Iona, this is just fine. It's not, there's nothing special about it, nothing memorable. But UConn, I really like their jerseys. The jersey portion, but the shorts and just I don't really love having the script, the text on the side there and the piping, and it just kind of ruins it because it's otherwise a pretty clean, nice look. But anyway, it is still enough to get them past Iona. And then UConn versus St. Mary's. They're really not all that different. I just can't really. Overall, UConn's look is better, I think. Those shorts. I'm gonna give it to St. Mary's, but I didn't want to. So let's see here. We got St. Mary's also making it to the Sweet 16 here, and next we have TCU. Oh, and actually I should say here tonight, but by the time this video is posted, this game will have already at least been started. So we've got Arizona State going up against Nevada. And Nevada's not too bad, but I don't really like this design that they have going on their shorts. Both of them have that annoying Adidas collar that kind of breaks up what's otherwise a pretty clean look, but I think the Sun Devils is just clean from top to bottom, and I love that color scheme. So, and Nevada is out, and I have them going up against TCU, or ASU going up against TCU. Now, this is, I think, a really, really good look. I really like what TCU is doing. However, I do not like this zigzag down the side. I think probably kids these days like it. I don't, however, and this committee of one is judging. So I think that hurts them in what is otherwise a very solid look. I even don't mind the red Nike logo on it. But it's just that zigzag look. So TCU always has to do something a little different, and it never quite works for me. However, going up against Arizona State, actually no, I'm going with the Sun Devils. I don't think it's a. I think TCU did themselves a disservice, and I think ASU looks really good. So I'm having the Sun Devils advance there past TCU. Let's see if they actually even make it to this to that game in real life, but I'm saying they get past Nevada. And so next up we have Gonzaga and Grand Canyon. Now the Zags, kind of like the Gales. I mean, this is better. It's cleaner, but it's also just a little bit boring. I don't know. It might be, maybe it's the color scheme. Not really fair because I really have no complaint, and I really like that classic logo right there. Grand Canyon, on the other hand, this is what TCU should have been, and I think that purple really pops, and I think it's a solid look. So I'm actually having them get past the Zags here, where TCU fell behind. So otherwise, that would have been a crazy matchup. TCU, Grand Canyon, very similar looks there. But now we're moving on to another purple team in Northwestern, and they also have purple, not as, it's a little bit darker, a little more serious shade of purple, and these uniforms are a little bit more stiff. They feel a little more uptight. Boise State, I actually like this look overall. I don't like the font that they use. I know it's their standard font, and I'm not a big fan of that, but otherwise I really like this look. Very clean. Northwestern's just, I usually side with purple, but these are just kind of boring and don't really do it for me. I've seen versions of their uniforms in the past that I've liked, but I'm actually going to have the Broncos, surprisingly enough, get by here. And this brings us to UCLA. Great, clean, classic blue blood program look, going up here against the underdog Bulldogs. And this is not a terrible look, but it's just an impossible task going up against UCLA. So here I have the Bruins advancing. And let's go. Oh, actually, I should finish up this part here and get my Sweet 16. So ASU versus Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is really good. I like it, but ASU is just, I think it's too much. I think they continue their Cinderella run from the playing game. And then Boise State, like I said, and I didn't mention earlier, actually, I like this classic logo right there. I like the two stripes at the bottom of the short, but UCLA is just too clean and too good. They're not getting past there. So let's see, ASU and UCLA. So let's go back up to the top of the bracket. We got the Illini versus St. Mary's. Made it no secret that St. Mary's is not my favorite. They were in a weaker portion of the bracket and benefited from that, but their run comes to an end. And then we've got the Sun Devils versus UCLA. This is a Pac-12 matchup for now. Just kidding, Arizona or Pac-12 fans. I'm not starting anything, but let's be honest. So this is tough. I really like this. I love this clean, small font here and the stripes, but I think this color scheme and overall just clean, classic look from UCLA. So I'm going to have them advance and go on to play the Fighting Illini. So in the Elite Eight, and I love what they have going on here, but ultimately I think both are really solid looks. UCLA is just ultimately a better color scheme for me. So I'm going to have UCLA representing the West in the Final Four. So looking at this gives us a Final Four matchup of Charleston versus Kansas State and Texas versus UCLA. All right, so our Final Four is set, and some of these teams have a realistic shot of actually making it to the Final Four. So my bracket is not completely shot, but do come back for our final video to see who pulls it out through our Final Four and who is ultimately the champion. We will see you there.